daughter's into tennis. Hey, who knows what could happen out of that? Yeah. Try. Questions?
What's it like to try to find ways to finish over Wembanyama?
You said, what is it like?
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, from my perspective, I remember the first game of the season. He was, his entry to the league. He blocked my shot.
His first walk.
I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? Right side of history. But yeah, he's just a force down there, and he has great timing. You can tell he really studies the game well, and on the defensive end, there's not much that he can't do. So for him to, or for me to get the best of him on that one possession, it felt good. But moving in the future, I don't know how many more I could get off on him, just because of how much ground he covers. But it was an exciting play. I'm grateful I converted it.
You actually had a few finishes over him, and with him or any elite shot blocker, what's kind of the decision-making process for you as far as how to finish?
The first thing is no fear. Once you step in that paint, you take off, especially off of 1 foot or off of 2 feet. You want to safely land, be aware of the contact, know how strong the bigs are before you attack. And even if there's a guard down there that's a good defender too, it's just to limit their athletic ability. I have to be crafty around the rim. Sometimes I could finish over guys, but a lot of them are trying to block shots when I get close to the rim. So I like to play in that in-between area between, like 16 feet to like 1 foot, and be very efficient down there. So when I see bigs in front of me, I feel like I have an advantage when I can use the rim as protection, and I know that I can convert it at a high rate. So that's what I'm thinking when I go to the lane. Just be creative, be imaginative, but also go to finish. I had a lot of coaches growing up, when I was playing on their teams, and they didn't really like or appreciate some of my creativity in the air until I made my layups at a very high efficient rate. So I don't blame them again, but a lot of practice. I've been working on these finishes since about 7th, 8th grade.
Is that the Rod Strickland influence?
That is Kyrie Irving influence, with my Uncle Rod being my godfather, and exemplifying greatness for 17 years in his own way, playing in the NBA. And I didn't get a chance to work out with him when I was growing up. It was mainly just me and my dad. But as I got older, I started appreciating his journey a lot more. And he played 17 years in the NBA. That's no small feat. So I'm really proud of him. I'm happy that I have a mentor in my life such as him that I can call on anytime. And he gives me a ton of advice, especially finishing around those bigs, which I appreciate.
You found a major rhythm in the second quarter and for the remainder of the game. Was there anything that you saw or anything in particular?
We had to get it going, man. We had to get it going. We had to manufacture the energy to be able to get the lead, at least going into halftime. And we knew playing from behind against this team, we don't want to leave it up to that. We wanted to put our foot on the gas pedal, get out and on the break, get some easy transition points, and let everybody touch the ball, feel good about it, have a good rhythm, and then, most importantly, just lock down on defense. We started paying attention to our game plan in that second quarter a little bit more. I know Sweeney and J. Kidd were happy about that, but we got to demand that out of ourselves in the beginning of the game. But even if it doesn't happen, we still got to have that resilience and be able to battle back.
I feel like I've seen a little more you and Luka two-man game over the past few games. What have you liked from that? What's been working, and is that going to continue trending? This direction?
Yeah, easy pickings. Easy pickings once we get into that 1-3 pick and roll, or 3-1 pick and roll, or 1-2, whatever you want to call it. It's a high efficient play for us, and when I'm making a decision on the back end, or he's making a decision on the back end, that's a successful play for our team.
You guys are getting healthier. You've won 6 in a row. You're running in, going into the break on a nice roll. How do you feel about the uptick you've seen out of this team in the last couple weeks?
Proud of our guys that we're making incremental progress, and it's about us and everybody that's in that locker room, and staying focused and continuing to get our work in on off days, and do the little things to be prepared to play whatever amount of minutes that coach asks you to. So I think once we've matured in that sense of being able to lock into our roles, then you're seeing some high-level basketball, highly successful basketball being played.
Derek mentioned his excitement going into his first All-Star weekend. Any advice for him in that area?
Yeah, enjoy it. I remember my first in Orlando. Get a chance to pick a lot of the guys' brains, a lot of your peers' brains, and it's about you. You've been chosen as one of the rising stars, and that's no small feat. He's played well for us this season. He's been a huge, impactful player for us, and I'm just happy for him that he gets to experience that, being around some of the best in the world, and really see what it's like. Sometimes it can be overwhelming at first once you get there, a little nerve-wracking, but once the ball goes up in the air and you see all the fans, and especially the kids enjoy that weekend the most. And I don't want to call D-Live a kid because he's turned 20, so I don't want to disrespect him, but it'd be good for him to play in front of his peers, some of the kids there.
Kyrie, how pivotal and impactful has PJ Washington's defense been for this ball club?
Very impactful, very impactful. We don't take it for granted, and we appreciate him doing the little things for us to be successful in these last few games. To get traded in the middle of the season is not easy, so we really feel for him. And going into this All-Star break, even like tonight, I told him, I said, once you play a few more games with us, you'll stop deferring to me and Luka and just be yourself out there and command the ball. You're playing with some selfless individuals that are some big gamers, so we know the rhythm of the game and who needs to get involved. But tonight showed his maturity to be able to not shoot the ball particularly well, not get as many shots, not be involved in the offensive end, but still commit himself to defensive end. That's a trait of a winner. So we want him to continue that.
And last question, you mentioned your father earlier, and he was sitting there courtside.
Mm-hmm.
Just what does it feel like? I know he's been at many games, but just what does it feel like for you to see him there courtside supporting you and with a team that you found your peace and happiness with?
Yeah, my dad's proud of me. He's happy for me, and I think he can speak for himself. If you ever get a chance to talk with him, not many people get a chance to get to know him, know the foundation of where I come from. People just assume that I just dropped out of thin air, and you know what I mean? Like my parents are not involved or anything like that, but my dad is truly influential in my life, and he's seen millions of my games. So, you guys are enjoying things that, you get to see for the past few years. My dad has seen it since I was 4 or 5 years old. So, when we have our moments to talk about how I can get better, those are the things I appreciate. But the most important role that he plays in my life is just being a great father and being there for me as a man. He's imperfect, I'm imperfect, and he just consistently giving me advice and telling me that he's an open book. He's seen a lot of life in this world. He has a lot of experience. He's been around the league for a while too, with my godfather being in the NBA. So he's been around the lifestyle. He's very familiar with it. And he just wants me to have peace of mind every single day I wake up and knowing, I have a supportive family behind me every single day. This lifestyle could get very lonely sometimes when you're in those hotel rooms or traveling and trying to be the best of the best. Not a lot of people understand. Not a lot of people get it. So to have, one parent in my life or two parents with my stepmom as well, supporting me, it means the world to me.
Going back to PJ and him trusting, trusting himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I know D-Live has talked about trust within the team. How much does that factor into games like tonight and just games overall?
Say that first part one time.
About PJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, about PJ trusting himself.
Oh yeah.
How does trust overall factor in games like tonight and just games overall?
Oh yeah, it's a huge factor. Again, I'll speak to his maturity. We don't see. I don't want to say we don't see a lot of young guys, but sometimes it takes young guys a little while. It took me a while to figure out how to win with quality teammates and to fulfill a role without getting too emotionally stressed over playing well in the offensive end or not getting the ball, especially playing with guys that are highly efficient. That's an adjustment period, but I feel like, he's integrated himself very well. I know him being at Kentucky helped, not having the ball all the time and doing the little things. So it's the same thing here. You're playing with some high-level players that make the game easy. You don't have to overthink it. You do the little things that help us win, and we'll be very successful. And that's what I'm going to continue to reiterate to him when we're out there. And then moving forward, we'll give him a few more post-ups, get him some touches when he needs to feel that rhythm, and that should answer all his questions.